Before you skip ahead to any of the stones, make sure you say your full name 3 times. What this will do is call your energy back to you and make sure that the message that you're hearing is for you and not somebody else in your energetic space that wants a healing. A lot of times empaths, what we can do is bring people into our space and try to heal their problem. So calling your energy back, what it can do is ground you and center you and make sure that the message you're about to hear is for you. You want to make sure you're only healing yourself. So I really want to promote that. So before you pick any cards and skip over my spiel, make sure you do that. Got it? Do it. Hi everybody, my name is Courtney Lawrence, otherwise known as the Bougie Psychic, and welcome back to my channel. So today what I'm going to be doing is my first ever YouTube pick-a-stone reading. So if you guys don't already know, you're new to this channel, I am a professional psychic. I have been doing readings over the last 3 years and I've been professionally certified by the Boulder Psychic Institute. So before I did any readings for the public, I did 128 readings at the school to get my certification. So these messages today that you're going to be hearing, a lot of them are, I hope, a lot more grounded and clean to what you're used to hearing. I'll also be saying a lot of just the absolute blunt truth. So I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Anyway. What I'll be reading today are the collective energies of the collective growth periods that I see souls going through from January to March. So a growth period, what that is a soul evolution. Sometimes we can kind of go through a little detox period as a soul, or lessons may pop up so that we can heal and clear them and evolve from them. So that's what I'm going to be reading, are what are the lessons and where are you going, and some practical steps you can take to moving in the right direction towards your goals and your dreams and your love life, whatever it is, whatever's coming up. So to begin, the stones in order, we have Amethyst, the Rose Quartz, the Clear Quartz Point thingy, the Labradorite, and the Aquamarine.
This is me editing. I thought that I looked really terrible on the MacBook camera, so I thought, why not just make myself look even worse? Anyway, in the beginning, I'm quite nervous and I'm quiet and not so sure of myself in the beginning. And it's funny because I'm kind of matching the energy of the collective and thing that I'm reading. So just kind of bear with me. I'm doing my best. This is my first time doing this. Towards the end, I get a bit more confident. Also, I apologize now for saying like so much. It bothers me a lot. So if it bothers you, I'm sorry, but I tried really hard on the video. I wanted to put it out anyway. Please love me. Bye.
And I'm going to kind of close my eyes and tune in and just see what I see. So this is all live. So we're just gonna play around. Oh, and if you see me yawning, it's because I'm releasing energy. Because somewhere my body has a match. Without further ado, I will go ahead and begin with the first stone. So that is the Amethyst. So what this pile is showing me is I'm seeing you as a human walking on your path, kind of trying to move forward, but I'm seeing almost like a belt around your second and third chakra. And so the second chakra is all about feelings. For women, it's sexuality. For women, it's also the womb space. I do see this kind of gearing towards more women, but either way, that second chakra space is all about nurturing, and that third chakra space is all about your physical action and doing. It's like your power center. It's also your money center. What I'm initially seeing here is like you're trying to move forward, but it's almost like they're all, it's like if you had a leash behind you with like 20 people attached to it, and you're trying to move forward, and every single person behind you is like sitting down, and you're trying, and you can only move forward when these people decide to stand up and like move forward. So it looks like you're showing me this extreme struggle when it comes to moving forward, because there is an extreme out of control healing behavior that you're working out. So it's like you literally are trying to move forward, but it's so fucking hard because you're literally attached to all these people. And so what I'm seeing that be is that you're taking on a lot of people's problems, and especially emotional problems, and especially like money problems. So a lot of these issues that I'm seeing that you're having, it's kind of like you can only move forward when one of these people one of them gets to stand up and then you can kind of move forward. You know, that they take a step and then you can take a step. And so I'm wondering, like, okay, so why don't you just like take off the belt? Just take off this, it's like a burden, but in a way it's almost like you're choosing the burden. So nobody's a victim here. I'm not gonna like, oh God, woe is you. No, you're making a choice here, and I'm gonna look at that choice and see. I mean, I validate you. I'm sorry for what you're going through. I'm just empowering you to not be a victim. Anyway, okay, you're showing me that there's like this key. Wow, okay, so it's like this key that opens the belt and leaves all these people behind. It's like out in front of you. And it's almost like those things, like a carrot, like a horse kind of going for a carrot. It's like, oh, if I just move forward a little more, then I can get this. And it's like outside of me. Oh my God. Okay. The energy that people are stuck on. It looks like you're working out this energy of help is outside of me and I can't help myself. So what's happening here is, if you have this energy in you, let's say it's like I can't help myself, what it's showing up to me as is like this kind of periwinkle color, and it can be located right here. It can be located anywhere, but just energy can be stored in you. I'm seeing that I don't know if I'm gonna cough or like hairball. Where's it going? So what's stuck is that it's like these people are like thinking that help is outside of them, and they're all like, you have the answers, and you're just like, yeah, I do. And then you're like, how do I stop doing this? And it's just like the same like reaching, like help me energy. And so even by just reading this energy, it's really cool. Things already begin to move and shift in the body. So you're already getting a healing just from knowing it. And so this like outward stretching, like, oh, the key is outside of myself. That I can only free myself from this by like getting help from other people. And that's why all these other people, you're taking on all these other people's feelings and emotions. And maybe life is just kind of going harder for you. I see that periwinkle energy it's the energy of helplessness. And it looks like for a lot of you, this energy just really isn't your truth. And you brought it into your space because there's a bit of attention that you get from being helpless. I know it's like fucked up, but like there is like, at one point it looks like when you guys were kids, when you were helpless, and it looks like, oh my God, okay. So it looks like when you had all the answers as a kid and you could really move forward and like do whatever it is that you wanted, it looks like a parent or authority figure or just like a teacher or something sort of just really invalidated that you knew what to do. And so you brought in this energy of helplessness, like that really isn't true. So as you know, humans, what we can do is bring in false truths, right? And what the reason why it worked for you was because you would get a lot of love for it. So when you just knew what to do and you're moving forward, it looks like there's like a specific moment where like somebody really invalidated you. You don't know what you're doing. Like, you need my help. You need my help. You don't know what you're doing. Or just was like, it's almost like a parent. I'm seeing like somebody like turning away from you. Like, oh, if you have it all figured out, then you don't need me. that parent or authority figure doesn't feel loved or like worthy. And so you brought in that energy to make sure to like receive love from that person. So when you were helpless, it was like that person could help you, and then they felt really needed, and their self-esteem was higher because, like, you know, you needed them. Yeah, I'm seeing that that's like a major energy that you guys are going to begin to work out. It looks like it's already beginning now. I'm seeing it have started probably like in November. And so you're probably already starting to feel this like now-ish. It's kind of like maybe it's like in your face. And I'm seeing that once you start to disidentify with that helplessness energy and start to identify with yourself, your own certainty, even if you don't know, just it looks like acting is going to really help you. And so now, like, as I'm reading, I'm watching like almost the key disappear, and you begin to, it's like the belt just slips off. So kind of turning inwards, it looks like, and really what you guys are going to be working on is getting back into your own certainty. And really you're going to, like, knowing the answers, not asking people outside of yourselves or like going outside of you to get these answers or for help, or like I need help energy. You can receive help, but it looks like this energy, like it was just constant, maybe just feeling like you're flying, just like a whirlpool is like sucking you down, like you just can't get out. It looks like you're gonna be like working this energy out, and by the end, it looks like of February, you're gonna start to really see where you know your answers, and maybe even it looks like perhaps some relationships might fade away because it's kind of like they were based on, some of them were based on like how much you were helping them, and then some of them were based on it's like they were like sucking you in, and you're like, I don't know. I'm like, it's like you're over it all. And then also it looks like you're just gonna be able to act from this space of just like knowing. And it looks like things are gonna really start to fall into place, because what this is gonna do is not only, you know, validate you and your certainty and being able to move forward, but it's gonna kick those other people out of your space and really kick other people's problems out of that second and third chakra, because it's that energy that they stick in on. It's that energy they can cord into you on, like that helplessness. It looks like by the end of February, maybe earlier for you guys. I never like to always like give a date, but it just looks like that is like a peak time, like something happens, like a click by then. And then it looks like from March onward, it's kind of like this, you can breathe, like you can breathe, and you get it, and you get who is in your life because they like you and they want to be around you, or they're like getting help, or you're just like, I'm not going to feed these people, I can't keep helping them, I can't keep enabling them, because then that just feeds the energy that they can't help themselves. And then some people might do that with you too. So it'll be interesting to see and watch that play out. But that's some of the positive things that you can really begin to see, is just like a lot of knowing by the end of these 3 months, or, you know, begin in November, and a lot of easy action towards your next steps in what you need to do in life. So that is Amethyst. Oh, practical steps. Tuning inwards. Saying your name 3 times before you, it's like, it looks like just doing simple techniques, like really trying to ground yourself, like patting you, like that really gets you back into the body. And then also saying your name 3 times can really help that crown chakra clear.
Hi, it's me editing again. I didn't tell you guys what the crown chakra meant. So it's a chakra right here. It's a 7th chakra on top of your head, and it's the gateway between spirit and body. If that is if it's blocked in any way, it can really inhibit your connection to yourself. So I saw that being something that clears when you ground into your body and you call your name back. This way you're not living other people's realities or taking on their problem with that helplessness energy. Yay!
For you guys, and help you be more into your own body and know your own answers. It's also kind of interesting because it's like you don't need me to tell you what to do to help yourself. All right, so we are now moving on to pile 2, which is, rock 2, which is the Heart Rose Quartz. Whoa, okay. So I'm seeing this person holding her arms out like this or having this offering, and it looks like, and I'm just seeing men and women and, you know, people that are non-binary come and just like drop something into this cup. And it's really beautiful because you're not really even, you're doing things, but you're just kind of existing and receiving. So it looks like one of the big things that you guys are going to be learning how to do in January, and it looks like you're already beginning to do this now, is really get in touch with the ability to receive. And it's interesting because in this image, you're just like opening your arms and allowing yourself to receive love, receive money, receive like people's kind words. And I'm seeing these people come and just drop things, and it looks like nice things like money and gold, and like obviously not. I would love if somebody just like drops gold in your lap. That'd be cool. You know what? Maybe for fucking one of you that happens. You guys are gonna really be learning how to receive without giving anything back. That even triggered me when I said that. But just like receiving so many things. It's like getting in touch with that divine feminine self that we all have within us, right? It looks like a lot of you guys have been so in do mode, and like that's okay. You can totally do a lot. I love to do a lot. I'm an Aries, but it's like we're doing so much that not doing so much, but like you can do a lot, but also be in a state of receiving. And it's like you have to work really, really, really hard and do all these things, and it's just like never good enough. You just deserve to receive more money. You just deserve for like your work. You just deserve to have these things. And so it looks like what you're really expanding on in this time is your ability to just here's this, like you can have this. And I go, oh, I didn't even work hard for it. And like being okay with that. And also it's like they just give you something, and it's like these people just walk away. So it's like there's no expectation here that you're like, it even reminds me of like maybe in sexual favors of like being able to maybe receive things for the first time, like maybe orgasms, somebody just tending to you instead of you always having to do something back. It's just like being pleasured in a way. It looks like that might be something that's really coming in too, of just learning how to receive from that space. For a lot of you, it looks like you guys have done a lot of giving in that area. Wow, okay, so I'm seeing you guys even just like begin to receive, and there's just like this big bucket, and they're just pouring things in. There's so much that you're like, oh, I can't have anymore. It's like capping. It's like, oh, I need a bigger bucket. But there's this shame around having so much. It's like, oh my gosh, and you're like looking at other people, and their like buckets are like this big, and they can barely receive something in that bucket, and you're like looking around, and people just like throwing things in yours, and and it's kind of like you feel like you don't deserve it, I'm seeing there might be some jealousy from some other people kind of like looking at you, and whoa, okay, all right, we're getting here. So it looks like I'm seeing like all these things just like coming into your bucket, and you're just like focusing on yourself, and you're just like, yay. And all this stuff is happening for you, but I'm seeing there's people around you with these like small buckets, like looking at your bucket and just like looking at and just seeing all the lack in their bucket, and like just like how nobody's coming to them, and like all of this stuff. And it's like they don't really want to be around you because you're receiving so much. So you're about to make like extreme leaps in whatever it is. Like it's like career, love, whatever, like whatever you're wanting, or it's something you haven't even thought of yet. Something you can't even, that's what it is. It's like something you can't even fucking fathom yet. That's coming in. And it looks like there's this shame of increasing the bucket. It's like, well, if I get a bigger bucket, already people are already like mad at me because my big bucket's overflowing and their bucket's like this big. But like, what if I get this swimming pool like in front of me? And then it's almost like, oh, perfect, you have a swimming pool. Like, that's great. And like people are just like throwing giant like thing. Here's a whole ass horse. Like just like throw. Like just there's this like ability to just have so much more, but that fear of being alone in the swimming pool of like all of these things.
The fear of being alone is the reason that you are staying small and not allowing yourself to reach your full potential.
It's kind of a metaphor for having yourself. So you're kind of going to be owning more and more and receiving more and more of yourself. And so it looks like in January and February, or even beginning now, like people are already kind of looking at you and you're kind of staying small, even though you're bigger. You're kind of afraid to like have this much because you think it'll make you lose people, but it actually looks like there might be some people that are jealous, but like also people are looking and they're like, whoa, I can have a swimming pool? That's insane. Like, well, I can have that much? That's amazing. And so you kind of think by like keeping yourself smaller, it's gonna help other people, but it doesn't. It actually just kind of impedes them in their own growth. And so you just kind of moving forward, and it looks like these people with these like tiny little buckets of just this tiny little ability to receive, you outgrow them anyway. And you know for every like there's like 10 people with these small buckets, and their friendship with you is just so like blah. But then you meet these other people that have giant swimming pools too, and you're like, whoa. And in a way, you're like, look at my swimming pool, like look how much I got here. And they're just like, that's so cool, like look at mine, like this is so cool. And it's like one of these swimming pool people is more in not the hierarchy, but you know what, fuck it. Yeah, one of these like swimming pool people that are the ability to receive so much means it's just so much more. It's just so much more important than all of these other people that just hate on you for how much you have or like your ability to receive love. They don't even matter, because these people that you're going to be meeting over here are just such high quality, and they're such like I don't like to say high vibration, but they really have themselves. They're able to receive themselves, and then they can receive you. And the quality of love that you're going to be experiencing like from these people is just so much higher than what you'd be receiving before. And there's a bit of reluctance because you haven't experienced it yet. It looks like also if there's like a lot of shedding of friends, like that's okay as you like grow, like as you just your ability to receive grows. So a lot of you, if you've been losing friends lately, just like don't really like completely, I mean obviously you own up to your shit, but like don't blame yourself completely or look at yourself and see that you're just like this terrible human, because it looks like you're just leveling up. Yeah, that's what I see. Yes, I'm just like seeing you just grow and grow and grow and grow, and just be exponential. If there are people in your life that make you feel guilty for having a large bucket or a swimming pool or even wanting that, don't give them attention. It's as simple as that. Looks like you come first, and like that's going to be the thing, is like focusing on yourself this year before everybody else, and trying to like make them feel better about themselves and making yourself smaller. No, fuck it. That's what I say. Be yourself. That's what I see for you guys, and some steps to really help that process are taking a good hard look at your friend group. Even if you barely have any friends. Don't be friends with people because you want to be alone. You don't want to be alone. And start to really see what's happening. Are people just taking from me? Are people jealous of me? What's happening here? Just really looking at that friend group and making some physical choices. Either becoming friend, like looking at that person like, I want to be friends with you, or being like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore, and just not feeling bad about it. So that's what I see for pile 2. Pile 3, the quartz point. I'm gonna look and see what is happening in this group. For some reason with this group, what I'm seeing is somebody, like, it's like you and then somebody throwing a straight rock like at your head and just like throwing it at you. And it's hitting every single time. And you're just like standing there, you're like, what the heck? Oh God, okay, so it looks like you're gonna be faced with somebody in like the beginning of 2020 that it could be a few things here. So I'm seeing that this person is so much like you that it's like you guys get into fights, you meet somebody or you're around somebody, and it's like yelling at a mirror. So it's like this energy of just like throwing like donk, donk, and it's hitting your third eye. And it's like this person has the exact same patterns that you do. And you're just like so angry and so triggered. And you're just like, I'm not like that at all. And then, but then you're like so like that. And like that's why it makes you so mad. Or like you've been like that in the past or something like that. And so I'm seeing that's a major energy that's going to be hitting you. It's kind of like slapping you across the face. I'm also seeing this energy of like people literally not like abusing you, but like it's like you're going to be, it looks like a lot of you have dealt with a lot of emotional abuse in your life, or maybe even physical abuse. And it looks like a lot of you are going to be kind of like not like hit, but like there's going to be an emotionally like not so fun period, and you're going to realize something. It's a few things. So one, you become friends with people that like hit you. That like you're like friends with the person that's like hitting the rock. So you're just standing there and you're crying. You're just like, oh my God, why is this person like so mean to me? And you're not doing anything about it. And you're not standing up for yourself, or you're not like deciding to end the relationship. It's like, it looks like a relationship sort of thing. It's like, oh my God, this person's so annoying, and like all of this stuff, and you're just like allowing them to keep like doing things to you, and you just don't do anything. So it's like kind of like this, like you're just standing there, and that's the thing, is like you're choosing to continue standing here when this person is hitting you, or you go and hang out with this person and this person's hitting you, or like they're a bitch, or they put you down, or you know, all of it's like, okay, you're not a victim if you keep actively making the choice to allow yourself to get abused. And that's the thing, is that, you know, I think in the spiritual community, that I think is one of the most toxic things, is that we talk about, you know, oh my God, that person's so toxic, like, you know, all that stuff, and there's no action, there's no change. And it's like, oh my God, I'm an empath, like this is like my fate. No, there's some active choice that you are making in that moment that is subjecting you to this scenario. So I'm seeing that one of those things is like it's going to be in your face, and it's going to finally, like, it's like, oh, they've been throwing pebbles at you, and then all of a sudden finally one day it's going to be like and you're like, oh my God, and it just fucking, it reminds me of like the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. It's like a fucking get up, bitch. Like, what are you fucking doing? Like, you gotta fucking do something. Whether it be in a job or like a relationship, just something where you're choosing to do this action that is getting you hurt. Stop doing that. Stop. Basically, and it looks like you need to make that choice, and the longer you prolong this choice, the bigger the slap is going to be. So make it now. It looks like the longer you wait with this choice or whatever it is, or whatever positive action that you're taking, the harder you'll fall. And that's what I'm seeing with that. Another thing that we always say, I feel like in the spiritual community, where it's like we're always like such victims to narcissists, or like victims to these people, and like 80% of the time this works. So like I'm not victim blaming, I'm not doing this, so please don't like freak out. But a lot of the times we keep attracting people that are have been emotionally abusive to us because at one point in our past we did that same thing. So I said 80% of the time, so I'm not victim blaming any sort of like terrible tragedy that happened to you, okay? So, but when it comes to somebody, you attract somebody that's like super gossipy about you, and they talk behind your back and they try to get everybody to like, you know, hate you. At one point in your life, you did that too. So in this space, it's kind of like owning the other side. It's owning, where have I also been an abusive and toxic person? Because continuing to see yourself in this positive light, it will continue to make you be the victim. It will continue you will continue to manifest these people because of how much you resist that aspect in yourself. So you will resist these people, you resist that aspect in yourself that were like how you used to act at one point in your life. You'll bring in these people that are going to show it to you blatantly until you own it. Own, hey, like maybe in that 7-year-long relationship with that person, you're just such a victim to it all. Like, where, you know, it's all about them. It's all about them. Like, where has it been all about you too? And just kind of seeing the other side. And it's by owning that other side, it looks like what it's going to do is release the dynamic completely. So it's like there won't be a winner and a loser. It'll just like level up and fade away. And kind of like owning that shadow side, like that's a huge thing that I'm seeing with this group too, is like owning your shadow self and owning, okay, like I've been like this too, and not constantly, we're so obsessed in our society with seeing ourselves as a good person. A lot of it's because of many lifetimes of religion.
Okay, I'm going to break this down a little bit more because it's an important concept to grasp. So abuse, what I'm saying here is that abuse is, I'm trying to do this with one hand, is an energy. Okay, and in abuse, there's two sides to this energy. There's victim, you're the victim of abuse, or you're the abuser. If you have this energy in here, if you have been the victim of abuse, you have also at one point been an abuser, because that's the energy of abuse. So if you are constantly healing this side of it, if you're constantly only seeing this side, you will constantly manifest people that are on this side to show you this that you're not looking at right here, this other side of abuse. You will constantly be looking at that. And if you continue to constantly always be here, this energy, it won't go away. It'll just get louder and louder. So by owning where you've been abusive, taking responsibility for some of the actions that you've done in your past, you don't necessarily have to go and apologize to people, but even recognizing within yourself where you've been abusive can help this energy begin to go away, and then you stop attracting people who have this quality. What people also don't realize is that in these relationships, it's not always, that's the thing, is that it's not always this person who's abusing you. This other person is the victim of your abusive behavior. How do you react to that abuse? Do you become abusive back? Do you ignore them? Do you become manipulative? Do you hit them? Like, what do you do? And then you justify it for some reason. There's no justification for abuse at all. Emotional, physical, any of it. There's just no justification. And once you just
own it and say, yeah, I was abusive, what can happen is really beautiful, is that this energy in both people can just fade away. It can just go, it can leave. Or you just are not into that person anymore. There's no weird pull. There's no tie. It's not as dramatic. It just becomes done. And you attract people who don't even have any of that blue energy at all. So yeah.
So what I was saying in the last video before it cut me off and said I had no more storage was that in our society that we really get programmed by religion that if we own where we're a bad person, and it's not always in this lifetime, it can be in many different lifetimes. Religious programming can just add up and add up and add up. I can't tell you how much deprogramming I've done on many different religions for myself. But anyway, so basically in a lot of different religions we can learn that if we own that we're a bad person, then we'll be eternally damned to hell. So there's a huge kind of, if we're going really deep, there's a huge kind of like, I don't want to do that, kind of just a resistance to owning any bad part of the self, because there's that fear that you will go to hell, which just isn't, in my personal truth, isn't true. So really owning almost and loving that bad part of you and kind of nurturing it and integrating it and saying hello to it, like, where have I been this way? Where have I been a bad person? And not just pretending like nothing ever happened and then just like shoving things from the way back of your memory. It's kind of like owning and being like, yeah, I was abusive, can be one of the most beautiful and healing things that you can do for yourself. So just owning where you've messed up, but making sure that you're not abusing yourself in the process, so like hating the body and like, bad body, why did you do that? You know, and that's kind of abusive too. Like, I hate myself, like I want to go, you know, that's abusive. So stop being abusive to you. And that will really help you integrate and really release entire toxic dynamics from your life and really be able to move forward from situations that perhaps keep repeating. So that's one of the main things I see, is that you guys are really wanting, you're going full in, you're saying, I'm ready to get rid of this really negative and toxic part of my life that I keep repeating over and over and over again, maybe even for a lifetime. So good job. This is a badass group of people. Cool. All right, moving right along. The fourth group, the Labradorite group. It's like a makeup channel. This doesn't even work. I'm not even close to the camera. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and tune in and see what I'm seeing for this group of people. Whoa. What I'm seeing is like, it's like a person, and you know, there's the astral realm, which is kind of like the spirit realm. It's where we go when we sleep. It's where we go when we die. You can get a lot of downloads from the spirit realm, you know, your higher self, but a much deeper connection with your higher self, which we learn at psychic school. We learn at psychic school is actually yourself. There's no higher or lower, there's no hierarchy. You're just getting actually just more in touch with you and getting a lot of other people out of your space. So a lot of other people's truths, or maybe different lifetimes of truths. But I'm like seeing this sort of, just getting a bunch of downloads. Just suddenly like knowing information. And it's not like scary, it's not like, oh, this person's gonna die in 3 days, but an increase in psychic abilities that you haven't really yet experienced. It's kind of just like this absolute knowing, and this, maybe a lot of you guys might be going through your actual like legitimate spiritual awakening, where it's like, oh, you know, there's law of attraction, there's love and light, and then there's like the holy shit, I'm seeing entities. That's a fun place to be. Like, maybe you won't see entities, not to scare you, but like, everyone's like, oh god, no. But you're like opening up to seeing more. It's like where all of a sudden maybe you like like see that person's aura and you're like, whoa, you know, like cool stuff, really cool stuff. Of just, it's like it looks like a lot of you guys have had a lot of previous lifetimes where you've been super psychic or super spiritual or just whatever it is, just super cosmic and celestial. And it looks like a lot of you guys are going to be integrating that into your bodies. And so being able to experience that on the physical plane. So just kind of like manifestations just like coming in like instantaneously, like in 30 seconds or something, or just like crazy stuff, crazy cool stuff. It's like, you know, just kind of like gifts, like spiritual gifts, or even things you haven't really yet experienced in this lifetime of like talents. One time it happened, to give you an example, one time out of nowhere I just decided that I wanted to learn how to like shuffle dance. Like it's kind of like, you know, what the rave people do. The rave people. The rave people. That just sounds so like boomer-y. Those darn ravers. I'm getting a little goofy. I'm in my fourth one. But anyway, it's just like this type of dancing. And I went out to the club and I was completely sober, and all of a sudden I just knew how to do it. It just came. I just was doing it. People were like, what? And it just like formed a circle around me, and all of a sudden it just like happened. So just like really cool different techniques that you didn't even know that you were good at, or maybe things that you're really good at, and just kind of like owning those things. Kind of like it's like it's like a lot of you guys, it looks like you're going to be getting a lot more downloads of many more downloads of your purpose. But not so serious, not like, oh my gosh, it's my life purpose. It's more, my soul really likes to do this thing in the physical body, and it's really fun. Maybe it's doing cartwheels. Maybe you couldn't do those before, or maybe it's, you know, singing or dancing, or just all these talents that maybe have been super latent and maybe you had as a child. It looks like they'll be popping up now. It looks like they're going to start to be like really, really important for you to get in touch with. Yeah, so it just looks like those talents and those gifts that you have, it's like you're finally going to begin. It looks like you're finally going to start something, and then just go for it and practice and practice and practice and it feels so good. It'll feel like almost better than being in love with someone, you know, when you find that one thing that you love to do, and even when nobody's watching, you just love to do it. That's what I'm seeing that you guys are going to really find and really start to be able to like move towards. And it's like in that space, like that's when you kind of meet people, or if you haven't met a partner yet, like it just kind of like in that space of you being your most full authentic self, maybe like love maybe even coming in. It's just kind of, but again, it's gonna be like the zing, here you go. You're like, whoa, hi. It might be, it looks, wow, okay, so the theme of the stone, it just looks like is alignment. It's like when you're really in your soul's truth, just here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go, just like perfectly in alignment. Things are just flowing. So like you might meet that partner, and you know, maybe before it took you like 5 minutes to say I love this, 5 minutes, 5 months to say like I love you, or just something, or it's just gonna be like this knowing of like you, great, date you, or that thing, like I'm gonna do that. It just all works out for you. It might, so I'm seeing that there might be like a bit of fear with that, of just things like working out, and so that's what you're gonna be working on in the beginning, is like fear of things just like working out. It's just fear of things working out, and then watching them all fade away and just fall away to pieces, and just there's this tendency to fall away as those things fall away. So it's kind of like the soul, it's like when your heart gets broken and the relationship physically breaks, it's almost like sometimes a soul will match that and break in half too. That's what it feels like, at least, and that's what the pain is. So it's that a lot of you guys are trying to avoid by not bringing in those amazing things for yourself. So in the beginning, you're going to be really releasing that fear of things just working out. Things can just work out, a concept. And then you're going to be starting to bring in just things are just going to flow. Like, here you go. This is what you want. Here you go. This is so you. Boom, 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 boom. In the beginning, you're just going to be trusting and like letting the body trust. And as the body trusts and trusts and trusts, it's like forward momentum. Yeah, just practicing being in alignment and trusting in certain times, if things don't work out, they're really not meant for you. There's a reason. Or like at that exact time. And it's also trusting that you're always right where you need to be all the time. So it's like, it looks like in this period too, you guys might be looking back and being like, oh my gosh, like I hated living with my mom at this time, but I didn't realize by living with my mom at a specific time that it was because I lived with her that I discovered YouTube again, and I discovered making a channel, and I discovered my Twitter. And it's only because I lived with her that I have my business now. A lot of validation of like where you were and how it was exactly where you needed to be, and then where you are now, and just really trusting that and just trusting the path. So yeah, that's what I see for Labradorite. All right, last but definitely not least is the Aquamarine. So I will go ahead and tune into this energy and see what is in store for group 5 people. Whoa, okay. So for group 5 people, I'm seeing that you guys are beginning to kind of like unmatch from groups, and I'm gonna explain what that means. So it's like there can be a lot of unhealthy energies in groups, and we can kind of fall into it in order to be included. And so I'm seeing that like for men and women, like I feel like a big thing that men and women bond over is kind of like bonding over how the opposite sex really is crappy. It's like, you know how women say like men are trash, and then like men are like women are crazy, and it's kind of like this energy on both sides. And of course, you know, non-binary people, and I'm not meaning to disclude anybody from the spectrum of, but there is this sort of like battle between the sexes. I'm seeing that a lot of people, men and women, are going to be starting to disengage. So it's kind of like with women, where, you know, constantly it's kind of like women bond over the fact that men are trash. You know, oh my God, he's such a dick. He doesn't even call me anymore. And it's kind of like girls like, oh my God, like my boyfriend does that too. And it's kind of like they like get together, and it's like a group thing of like men are trash, and it's like a bonding thing, you know. And then on like the male side, it's kind of like there's like this toxic masculinity where it's just like maybe men acting like trash, and that like, you know, like one of the males like really getting into this divine masculine and being like, I don't want to participate in all of that derogatory crap, of all of that like, you know, all of whatever's happening, or you know, it's like really disengaging from like the toxic masculine and like the toxic feminine, you know, where it's like the feminists that are like man haters, or like the people that are just like constantly say that, or like the men that are just like like the reason women hate men. You know, it's like maybe you were like matching that energy to fit in, like, you know, I guess for me, you know, I was in a sorority, and like, you know, fraternity guys like matching that like really like toxic masculine or vibration, in whatever way that means to you, or in like that toxic feminine vibration of like just extreme comparison and like putting other girls down. It looks like that's a big thing that's up for a lot of people right now, is just kind of disengaging from that. And you know, sometimes it's like, well, if my boyfriend just treats me well and he's amazing and he's like the best guy ever, you know, sometimes girls can get really jealous of that, you know. And if a guy is just like in an amazing relationship, or you know, he's just, you know, playing the field, but he's being respectful, you know, it's kind of like he doesn't engage in that conversation of like, oh yeah, like I booked her last night, like, yeah, like, you know, like it's kind of, there's this like wanting to fit in, but also wanting to disengage from a toxic energy, and it can be kind of scary. So I'm seeing in the beginning it's become really prevalent for people, and be really scary for some people to leave this, because it's like feeling like you're gonna be alone. But the thing is that by matching that energy, it keeps happening. So it's like, or guys are just like, oh, you know, like women cheat too. Women are trash too, you know? Like everybody's trash. We've all been trash. But I'm seeing that like, it's by matching that energy and going into it is what's manifesting it continuously. So like, not to, you know, disregard what's happened, but be in present time, and disengaging from this energy is going to be something that really, you know, not lying to yourself, but like, you know, where are you playing into this just to fit in? And how is it actually affecting your relationship with the opposite sex or whomever you're dating? You know, whatever. You know, battle with everybody. And, you know, how is that affecting your life? In many different communities, how are we matching a specific energy, and how is that toxic for us? And how are we going, and how are we accepting it, and how are we bringing it in? And even in families of just like, oh, you know, oh, we're all against so and so, or just beginning to look at the toxic dynamics between communities and how you particularly go into that. Astrology is a big community that can be incredibly toxic and fear-mongering, and be so scared for this Saturn Pluto conjunction. Saturn Jupiter's coming up later this year, but like be so scared, like, you know, all this stuff, and like matching going into that energy, it, you know, it makes it true for you. You know, I have a lot of jokes on like the twin flame community and matching that energy, and how, you know, super problematic that energy can be for people. So just kind of seeing, whoa, where am I becoming the community here, and where is my actual truth? And I'm seeing that a lot of people in the beginning are going to be kind of like enmeshed in the communal energy, and then they're going to kind of be like, whoa, and start to set a standard and start to move away from that sort of thing. And what it's going to do is it's going to actually bring a lot of healing amongst the community, and really change the lives of a bunch of people, where you just start to own, no, like this is my truth when it comes to all of this. This is like how I want to own myself. So it looks like that's something major that's happening. Okay, so I'm gonna look at that energy further and see what else is coming up for you guys. Wow, it's just how owning your truth in a community can literally just, it's like a ripple. I just see you guys just owning like just this amazing truth, and it's just like this like I look like that like Squidward. I'll put a picture. Yeah, just like owning, like, where are you and where does this energy begin? It's going to be one of the most healing things for yourself and for other people in this time. What else? I'm actually seeing a lot of people from your past pop up. So people that you haven't spoken to in a while, and are not necessarily like saying your ex-boyfriend's gonna come back to you, like, no. But I am actually for once kind of like seeing a lot of past people come back and talk to you and be like, hey, what are you doing? Or just kind of watching growth and like witnessing you and wanting to be a part of it in some way, and seeing what you're doing and being inspired by that. So yeah, I'm also seeing a lot of past people kind of reforming some connections with you, and it looks like some healing of those past relationships even. I see you guys laying an egg. What this means to me is it's birthing something. It's like creating something new, and it's coming directly from you. It's a whole egg. Not a baby, but an egg. It's like birthing new projects. It looks like you guys are really tuning into wanting to birth something new, and this looks like a creative enterprise or a business. It doesn't necessarily look like relationship necessarily. It can be, but I'm seeing this more be all about you and birthing new things for yourself. And it's like coming all from you and being really excited about this creative energy that's beginning to really flow out of you. And it looks like a lot of ease. It's like your little chicken. You're just like pooping out all these eggs. Like, look at it go. Just like, yeah, and so but like it's so easy. It's just so easy. It's natural. It's like how a chicken lays an egg. It's just like a natural thing that happens like every day. And it's just gonna become really easy for you guys to like do some creative things. And it's just like a lot of ease. It's like, oh, the body just likes to create. It's just fun. It likes to do that. Yeah, so a lot of you guys look like you've been in this process of completely destroying your old life, and now you're like actually creating things that are yours. So that looks like that's something that's really cool that's coming in for you guys too. And that looks like that's gonna be coming in around like February, March-ish, like beginning of February to March. You know, it looks like after you go through this like period of detaching from communities, there's gonna be this just creation. It's like, wow. So that's what I'm seeing there. Ways to continue to move this forward. It looks like a natural next step that you can take is, looks like journaling is gonna be really helpful for you guys, especially during that period of disassociating from groups or even with the creative projects. It's kind of just like writing things down immediately. You get downloads, you know, I'm just like you got the creative download, I'm gonna write it down immediately so I don't forget. How do I actually feel in this group of people, and just kind of like allowing yourself to flow. And it looks like in that flow state of writing, you're going to be able to really begin to see where your truth begins and then their truth ends. It's like, where do I begin? Where is my truth in that group's truth? So it looks like for some of you, maybe like many groups. So just kind of writing things down will help you kind of begin to sift between what's me and what's not me. And really help you begin to go into that next decade with a lot of confidence and certainty. And yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So that is the final rock. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I actually had a lot of fun, and I didn't use cards at all, not once. I just kind of like to flow more. It's way easier for me. If you guys liked this, please let me know if there's different topics that you want me to do. Please give me hints and suggestions down in the comments. If none of it resonated with you, please don't leave me hate in the comments. Just kind of let it fly. You know what? No. Leave me hate in the comments. It'll boost my engagement, and it'll just help me grow. So leave them. Anyway, my sessions, you can book with me down below. I'll link everything down in the bio. I look forward to 2020 and all the things that you guys manifest. So thank you again so much for watching, and I can't wait to talk to you guys again soon.